This is a work of fiction. Names, characters, businesses, places, events, and incidents are either the product of the author's imagination or used in a fictitious manner. Any resemblance to actual persons living or dead or to actual events is purely coincidental.
Since the first launch of an artificial satellite in 1957, approximately 8,100 more have been launched by over 40 countries. Earth's population as a whole has benefited greatly from these satellites, which commonly provide GPS, crop management and communication facilities. Every time an object is sent into space, debris is generated, whether this be items as large as rocket modules or as small as flecks of paint. Currently there are vast amounts of space debris orbiting the Earth approximately 250 to 2,000 kilometers from the surface, traveling at speeds at least 10 times faster than a bullet. Space debris can be likened to nuclear fission, whereby one collision generates more debris, generating more collisions. This can reach a critical mass where a chain reaction begins and the amount of debris grows uncontrollably. As we increase the amount of objects orbiting Earth, the probability of collisions will rise. Orbiting debris, making it impossible for humans to access space, is a real threat. This may mean that in the case of a catastrophic event, there may be no escape and mass extinction becomes a real possibility for future generations.
Now do you understand why this project cannot go ahead? It just adds the ever-increasing issue and accelerates us towards an absolute catastrophe.
Thank you for your input, Professor Bentham. I do understand the risks, but you're missing the big picture. By launching 100 or so tiny little satellites, our state-of-the-art 7G network will serve the needs of all our customers all across the world. Plus, our stakeholders would be delighted with the profits that this project brings. Of course, space debris is dangerous and is probably even a threat to our own technology, but the benefits of this project outweigh its risks.
Besides, if we don't launch this technology, someone else will. Demand for it is not going to go away. The way I see it, this project doesn't just benefit space-wide, but benefits our nation as a whole. The military applications of technology are also endless, and we must utilise it before our enemies do.
The scientist's warning is clear. However, as a military man, I must act in the best interest of my people that I have sworn to serve and protect. Controlling space is vital. No legislation exists regarding its ownership. That is why we must do our best to control it if we are to protect our own interests. We are not afraid to take full ownership of the issues raised by the scientist. In fact, we will do so better than any of our rivals ever could. I am willing to go through whatever it takes to get these satellites where they belong. The future of our country depends on it.
I think there's an even bigger picture you're both missing here. Feigning ignorance isn't an option. The facts have been clearly presented to us by the professor moments ago, and we have to act in good faith. I believe it's wrong to exploit our space ecosystem. Can we not learn from what has already happened here on Earth? If we don't act with consideration as to how our actions affect the rest of the world, we can't be surprised when others do the same.
See, I believe that this is a complicated matter. I personally do not consider space as part of our environment, unlike the ecosystem, which supplies us with water, with food, with biological discoveries, amazing landscapes, so I wouldn't directly compare space to the environment that we have on Earth. The threats of space debris aren't the biggest concern to me as the CEO of a private company. I need to look out for this company and meet our customer needs. We need to meet their demands.
Again, I concur with Ms. Mill. Controlling space is vital. No legislation exists regarding how it's governed or policed. I'm willing to exhaust all resources in order to get these satellites into orbit.
Currently, space is only accessible by the global superpowers. As technology becomes cheaper, more and more nations are going to join the space race. And shouldn't we lead by example? We must act as our own oversight. Acting within the bounds of the law doesn't clear us of moral responsibility. I work for the benefit of humankind, to further our knowledge and provide a better quality of life for people. To actively take part in any activity that could remove the possibility of humans exploring the wider universe isn't something that I'm comfortable with.
Don't be so quick to forget that a former commander-in-chief of this nation once said, "Space can be explored and mastered without feeding the fires of war, without repeating the mistakes that man has made."
My biggest and most important responsibility is the satisfaction of our customers. Nowadays, it is close to a human right to have access to communication and information. Many people, organisations and institutions will benefit from this project. And of course, space debris is dangerous, but the likelihood of its risks are much less than the quantity and quality of the benefits of this project. Emily Kant is not in an easy position at the moment, I know, but whether she decides to do the work herself or not, it will not stop this project from being carried out. This is a reason why we brought you here today, Mrs. Kant. You're one of our most accomplished aerospace engineers. Your cooperation would be very valuable to us as a company and to the project as a whole. But you're not irreplaceable. Is space debris worth losing your job for?
Look, I can see this eventually might become a problem. We're all doing our best to meet targets within budget. Can't you just do the same? You're an engineer. Build a satellite the best you can and leave the cleanup to the politicians.
And how's the cleanup going for climate change and ocean plastic? The politicians aren't going to clear space for us. They focus on winning votes, and no one's going to vote for them to fix a problem that they haven't heard of. You know what can happen, and you can't claim to be ignorant of the matter. If this project goes ahead without due diligence, I will go to the press. Space debris may not be a hot topic at the moment, but if there's an international scandal involving Space Y, I'm sure it will be. Who's going to invest in your projects and buy your shares when everyone knows that the project will contribute to a catastrophe?
The thing is, Miss Kant, that the public does not always weigh the risks against the advantages of this project. Getting the press involved is not going to stop this. It will only create hysteria and chaos. The result will simply be an increase in the share of our budget spent on PR and a delay in the progress.
And our enemies will take advantage of this. The process is far less cumbersome and we don't have to deal with the free press breathing
I disagree with their belief that this is the right course of action. If one of SpaceY's competitors tried to pull something like this, Joanna would be up in arms. I'm sure the General would be outraged if another nation sent a large number of satellites up without a contingency plan for their return. As the chief engineer on this project, it's my duty to do no harm. I work for the benefit of mankind. I cannot with clear conscience sign off on actions that I would not permit from others. What gives SpaceY the right to do this, if everyone else doing the same would guarantee catastrophe?
Emily, I must insist you reconsider.
I have a better use for that money. I'll cooperate under the following conditions. Firstly, we must design the satellites so they burn up in the atmosphere at the end of their use. Furthermore, SpaceY also must launch a public campaign to recollect space debris. That way you can get ahead of the story in the press, and SpaceY can be the saviour of future space travel.